Hi everyone, my name's Pieta Valentine. I've written 2 books, The Resident's Voice from a Dementia Unit and The Resident's Rise from a Dementia Unit. Today's video is on when mum forgets my name. Now there's a lot to this and context is very important. So let's take one example of, say your name is Matt and you've been living over in Australia for 6 months and you've come home to visit mum, who's now in a dementia facility, and when you come in to visit her, she forgets your name. Now, the thing is, if your mother's been in a dementia facility for 6 months, it's really disorientating. You know, she's away from her home, her friends, her community. There's, you know, however many Matts walking in the door looking practically like you every day, her son looking like you, tall, strong, whatever. And she's got no warning of when you're going to come. It's like, if you're at home, like when she was home, for example, say she was at home with her husband and you were coming to visit, then chances are he'd be saying, oh, you know, Matt's coming on the plane this Sunday at 2 o'clock, and you know, that's like on Monday, say he's coming on Sunday, then on Wednesday, not long till Matt's coming, and then the day before Matt's coming tomorrow. So all these cues are coming up that you will be coming to visit. So the name, the recognition, etc. As the mother's memory's fading, she's getting these cues. Then when she sees you come up the drive in the car that you've been driving, say 10 years, that could be another clue as to who you are. When you come in, yes, Matt, it's lovely to see you, etc. So that's good. But in the dementia unit, because there's none of those cues, there's none of that preamble, that warning, that anticipatory feeling, that anticipatory thinking, it's really, really disorientating. That is actually one of the big problems about a dementia unit. I mean, it keeps the people safe, yes, but it's totally disorientating, you know, and it does nothing to help dementia, it just worsens it. So that's why actually it's so important to try and give context to your relative and orientation and helping them get some, you know, context as to the news, the world, the family, who you are, where everything fits in. Otherwise it's just totally and utterly confusing for them. So okay, so anyway, the best way, or one way not to introduce yourself, and then I'll say the best way to introduce yourself. So the one way not to introduce yourself, which many sons do, I have to say, you're sitting, if mum's sitting in the half circle by the TV where they commonly sit, and she's amidst 2 or 3 other ladies, and then your son comes behind, bangs you on the shoulder, both shoulders, and says, hi, it's me, mum. It's like, that is really poor, because she can't see you, she gets a fright. It could be any number of residents coming to assault her from behind, which they do, and it's scary. And then, you know, she's all adrenalized and stressed, and then trying to calm down because you're there, you know, to be happy and have a nice visit is extremely difficult. So the best thing, she's sitting in the group, and it doesn't matter, not to worry if activities are going on, if the newspaper's being read, if exercise class is on, you're only going to be interrupting for 30 seconds or a minute, and nobody's going to mind, especially if you've been away for a long time, and, you know, everyone will know that, you know, you're the long lost son now coming back. So no concerns there, just come in, go straight up to mum, bend the knees so there's good eye contact with her. Hi mum, it's me, Matt, I'm back, I'm here for a week, you know, back from Australia. So she's got everything, she's got context, she knows it's you, she's eye contact, she'll recognise you through the eyes. Mothers always recognise their sons and daughters through the eyes. They may forget the name, but they don't forget the feelings. That's the big point. So you've introduced yourself, your name, that you're here for a week, and that you're back from Australia. Great, that's all mum needs to know. Oh yes, Matt, it's lovely to see you. And then you can suggest to go to a nice place where hopefully it's the most quiet in the facility, into her room, or the second dining room if there is one, or out onto the veranda. So from that point on, keep giving her context, keep repeating that you know that you are Matt if she's forgotten, or if she's stumbling to remember your name. Just say, you know, yes, it's Matt, Mum, you know, I am here, and you know, all's well. And you'll probably find, if you're there, say, for a good week, and you see her every day, say 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon, and you go out for lunch, or out for coffee, or to the park, or other nice places, you'll probably find she will remember the name, being prompted and having that context and having your company throughout the whole week. So whether she remembers or not, though, the thing is, mothers love their sons. She will recognise you, even if she won't remember you, and she'll definitely and absolutely pick up on your feelings. You know, the old adage, a rose, something about a rose, by any other name, a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. That's right. So, you know, yeah, it's the sweetness and the good feelings and the love and the relationship that's really what it's all about. I mean, some people do get upset when their mother forgets them, but actually what I've found is those residents at the facilities I've worked at, for these sons and daughters that visit regularly, you know, like at least once a week, they don't forget their names. I haven't noticed that, not for the ones that say the names of the children. 1 or 2 may have forgotten and just don't say it. They just say nothing, you know. Oh, my son, oh yes, they do that. Oh, my son's coming. Oh, my son's here. You know, that's a good way of getting around it. But I think most do remember their names. Probably about 50-60% of the mothers whose sons come regularly and daughters come regularly would say their names and remember their names, but not the names of the children that don't come regularly. That's the thing. They forget that, you know, relatively quickly. Well, if it's 4, 5, 6, or sometimes years before they've seen their son or daughter, or often only just every Christmas, you know. And we age and we get grey and we look different, and, you know, if they haven't been kept up with all those changes, it's very hard for them to recognise you sometimes. If you've grown your hair, you have a different haircut, yeah, it's really hard for them to recognise you. So just to take all these points into consideration, and then it's sort of education, isn't it? It's all about educating, understanding this dementia process, and everyone's different, everyone's has a different experience with their dementia experience, and every relative responds to it differently. You know, like some people aren't concerned that their name is not remembered, but other people get really upset about it. And I suppose it's just our personality as to how we respond to different situations. But one of the things not to do, prompting mum about your name is good, you know, friendly, nice when you're with her, but don't in public, not to ask her name in public like an examination type question. You know, Mum, do you remember me? You know, in front of a whole group of people. That's really embarrassing. And she could feel, you know, it's sort of shaming in a way. So make sure not to do that. And even just questioning her, just, yeah, for the sake of, yeah, you have to be careful not to sort of pester them. Just asking once or twice to see if she remembers, so you can gauge where she's at. And then after that, prompting as needed, you know. And she doesn't need to say your name that much anyway. As long as you can have a lovely time together, that's the main thing. So these are some pointers about, you know, when mum forgets your name, how to work your way through it. So good luck out there, everyone, looking after your family members and friends with dementia. It's a big task. And, you know, there's so much to learn. Please pass this information on and links on to your friends and family and people you know, so that in your contacts, so that they can be helped as well. And thank you for your subscriptions and your likes and comments. Yes, really appreciate it. Thank you.